Wow, look at those stars. They're so breathtaking.
Yeah, we are lucky that we have dark skies here. Many people who live in big cities don't see many stars at all because of the city lights.
That's sad. They need to go out to the country, and then they can behold the majesty of the night sky. Look, there's a summer triangle. Deneb, Vega, and Altair.
The summer triangle is an asterism, like the Big Dipper. It is not a constellation, just 3 bright stars that make a triangle. It is easy to find because the stars are so bright, so it makes for a great starting point to help aim your scope to find deep space objects.
Okay, let's get out on the scope and find some of them.
August is a great month to see the summer triangle. It is visible all summer long and will help you find other objects. The summer triangle is made up of 3 big bright stars. Deneb is found in the constellation Cygnus, the swan. Vega is in the constellation Lyra, and Altair is in the constellation Aquila, the eagle. The stars are so bright that you can see them from cities. Then, using them as guides, you can find objects in your scope.
The summer triangle was only named in the 20th century. There are no myths associated with it. Bummer. But each of these 3 constellations have stories about them. The star Altair is in the constellation Aquila. Aquila is the eagle. When Zeus was battling the Titans, the eagle carried his thunderbolts. After Zeus won, the eagle remained with him and helped him whenever he needed. The Romans said it was a vulture. The Indians said it was the footprints of the god Vishnu. The star Vega is in the constellation Lyra. Lyra is the musical instrument, the lyre. The first lyre was played by Orpheus. When Orpheus was killed, his lyre fell into the river. Zeus sent his trusty eagle Aquila to swoop down to the river to get the lyre, which Zeus then put in the night sky. The third star of the summer triangle is Deneb. It is in the constellation Cygnus. Cygnus is the swan. One Greek story says that when Orpheus died, Zeus turned him into a swan and put him in the night sky next to his lyre. Since the constellation spreads across the Milky Way, the Chinese said it was a bridge made by magpies. In the Chinese story, Niu Lang, who was a cow herder, and Xing Yu, who was a weaver girl, got married. But Xing Yu was a fairy and Niu Lang was a mortal. Since the mortal and fairy were not allowed to get married, the goddesses of the heavens separate them in the night sky. But every summer, magpies fly up to make a bridge so Xing Yu and Niu Lang can be together. How romantic.
The big bright star in Cygnus is Deneb. With a magnitude of 1.3, you can't miss it, even in areas with light pollution. Deneb is over 20 times the mass of our Sun and 60,000 times brighter. It is reaching the end of its life as it has stopped the fusion process of hydrogen. In a few million years, Deneb will explode as a supernova. You know that on Earth, Polaris is the North Star as it is straight up from the North Pole? Well, on Mars, Deneb can be considered the North Star, as it is nearly straight up from Mars's North Pole. The second star in the summer triangle is Vega, located in the constellation Lyra. Vega is brighter than Deneb. Vega is the 5th brightest star in the night sky. It is only 25 light-years from Earth. Vega also has ties to the North Star. Because the Earth actually has a small wobble, Vega was the North Star about 14,000 years ago. And it will be the North Star again in about 12,000 years from now. The third star in the summer triangle is Altair, in the constellation Aquila. Altair is the 12th brightest star in the night sky and even closer to Earth than Vega. Altair is less than 17 light-years from us. One interesting fact about Altair is that it spins very rapidly. Because of this, the star is not round or spherical, but it is squished or flattened at the poles. So let's use the summer triangle to find some famous deep space objects. Draw a line from Altair to Deneb. About 1/3 of the way from Altair, you will find the Dumbbell Nebula, M27. The Dumbbell is a planetary nebula, the remains of an exploded star. It is very easy to see in binoculars or a small scope. In a 3-inch scope, you can make out the shape of the dumbbell. With about an 8-inch scope, the details in the gases can start to be made out. Now draw a line from Altair to Vega. About a third of the way along the line from Vega, you will find the famous Ring Nebula, M57. The Ring is also a planetary nebula, formed by an exploded star. The Ring is a lot smaller than the dumbbell, so it will take a little more effort and a larger scope to see well. You can make out the round shape in a small scope. An 8-inch scope is required to start seeing the details in the ring shape itself, but it is definitely worth finding in your scope. You can use the summer triangle to find a couple of globular clusters also. M56 on the line from Vega to Altair, and M71 on the line from Altair to Deneb. Along that Altair to Deneb line, near Deneb, you will find an open cluster, M29. Now let's move to the southern hemisphere. Visible from about 55 degrees north all the way to the South Pole, you will find the constellation Sagittarius.
Sagittarius is the archer. Some say it is a centaur, a creature with the body of the horse and the head of a man. Sometimes Sagittarius is identified as Chiron, a famous centaur who taught many Greek heroes. But Chiron was actually depicted in the constellation Centaurus. So many say Sagittarius is not a centaur, but a satyr. A satyr is a creature that's part goat, part man. The constellation is actually Satyr Crotus, according to Greek mythology. Crotus invented the bow and arrow and was a great archer. But the constellation actually dates back before the Greek times. The Sumerians knew it as Pebble-Sag, the wild bow of multicolored legs. The Babylonians said it was the god Nergal. Nergal was a winged creature with 2 heads, one human and one of a panther. I'd like to see that cat fight. Sagittarius also referred to as a teapot.
Sagittarius is just brimming with Messier objects, 15 of them. Several of them are nice globular clusters, M28, M54, M55, M69, M70, and M75. M22 is also a globular cluster and is considered one of the finest in the sky. It is also one of the closest globular clusters to Earth at just over 10,000 light-years away. How about open clusters? M24 is one of the finer open clusters you will find. It is often called the Sagittarius star cloud, as it resembles a cloud of stars. Other open clusters in Sagittarius include M18, M21, M23, and M25. Sagittarius also contains some very nice nebula. M20 is the Trifid Nebula. The Trifid is a combination of a reflection nebula, the blue area, and an emission nebula, the red area. Only 2 degrees from the Trifid, you will find M8, the Lagoon Nebula. With wide-field lenses, you can get both M20 and M8 in the same view, along with the open cluster M21. The Lagoon Nebula is a star-forming nebula. The young stars being born are hot and bright, making the lagoon visible to the naked eye in dark sky areas. With an 8-inch scope, you can get a nice view of it. Another star-forming nebula in Sagittarius is M17, the Omega Nebula, also called the Horseshoe Nebula, or the Swan Nebula, or the Lobster Nebula. Consult your star map for other objects found in Sagittarius. When you look toward Sagittarius, you are looking toward the center of the Milky Way itself. So there is plenty to see and find there that will keep you busy for nights on end.
Now let's see where the planets are. Mercury will not be visible until the very end of the month, where you will see around the sunset.
Venus will be moving from Gemini to Cancer and will be visible just before sunrise. It has a conjunction with Jupiter on the 18th.
Mars will be moving from Virgo to Libra and can be seen after sunset. On August 27th, Mars passes 3.5 degrees south of Saturn.
Jupiter is in Gemini and not visible the first part of the month. It will appear in the morning sky about mid-month. On August 18th, Jupiter and Venus pass within a degree of each other.
Saturn is in Libra and visible after sunset. Conjunction with Mars is on the 27th.
Uranus is in Pisces and visible most of the night.
Neptune is in Aquarius and visible most of the night.
Full moon is August 10th, and new moon is August 25th. So we have 2 planet conjunctions this month. Venus and Jupiter just as the sun comes up on the 18th, and then Mars and Saturn at night on the 27th.
Those are going to be cool to see, and Saturn is looking good with the rings pointing at a good angle.
Until next time,
happy stargazing!
Check out our other episodes in the Let's Explore Astronomy series at www.tedcookproductions.com/LEA.
You will find all kinds of cool astronomy topics there.
Hey, give a shout out to our sponsors, without whom we would not be here. Visit their websites and partake of their services and products. A big thank you to the Yukon Department of Tourism and Culture and Westmark Hotels, Westmark Whitehorse.